Hello and welcome to another stream. It's been a little while since I last did a stream, and I had some time this afternoon, and I thought it'd be a nice idea to do a bit of streaming. So, hello, welcome to the stream. Today we're going to play a bit of Rapid. I thought last few streams I've done a bit more Blitz oriented, so I thought today we would do some Rapid. And we'll start with a 10-minute game in honour of the Esports World Cup that's taking place at the moment. I've been watching a lot of the games. I'm planning to watch the Carlsen Firouzja matchup later, which I think is going to be very, very close. I still think Magnus is going to win that. It just seems to me that he has this aura, especially against Firouzja. Much as I think Firouzja could win, I think it's still going to be very close. I think Magnus will just take it. I noticed a lot of the games, a lot of the players seem to be getting into a lot of quite early time trouble. 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a strange amount of time. I think it sounds like a long time, but when you're playing without increment, it can very quickly go. Like, I've got 9.5 minutes left. I've already used 5% of my time, and I'm not moving slowly. But I think there is a strange thing in playing 10-minute chess where it always feels like you've got more time than you have until you get down to the nitty-gritty at the end. So, we're playing here. It's been a perk. It's a fairly closed position, which I don't mind in the perk. I quite like playing with a closed position. He's going to try and push this pawn up at some point, but I want to try and avoid him. I want to try and avoid white having that opportunity. I think I'm going to try something a bit different today. I'm going to play this. Now, I know that leaves that square potentially a little bit weak. I'm aware of that. And it may now be that white plays knight here, with the idea of bringing the knight into this square, forking queen and rook. But I have a suspicion that if white does this, I'll just bring the knight back, take control of this square by pushing the pawn up on the next move, and it may not actually be quite so bad. I'll have a look and see what happens, but I certainly don't think it's clearly worse. White can obviously capture this way, but then I'll just capture back with the pawn, and I think I'm doing fine. So I don't think there's any real risk of white taking en passant here. I really don't think there's a risk of that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And clearly, a move that white wasn't expecting. White spent at least a good minute thinking about this. And you see, the knight didn't come in here. Now, I think I need to just rejig everything a little. Because at the moment, this is coming. I'm not sure it's necessarily a problem, but it's coming, and it's something I need to think about whether it's going to be a problem. And I don't really know where I want this knight to be, but at the moment this bishop is very passive. It's not really doing anything. Not doing anything for me at all. I'd like to get my knight on that square. I wonder if I should go this way. Knight here and knight here. Potentially keep this bishop quite passive. Because now there's no chance of white playing this move. That's an interesting move. Is not a bad move at all. But I think we're okay. Nothing I'm too concerned about at the moment. Quite happy for him to take. I will also take back and slide the king over. And then we are both dealing with this open file. Not terribly unhappy with the position, but also not overly happy with it either. I think white's attack is a bit better than mine at the moment. But we also have significant pieces that are out of the game. His pieces, this bishop's doing nothing. This rook's doing nothing. This bishop isn't really doing anything. But also I've got this rook, this bishop, this knight. None of them are doing anything. So it's going to be a case of who can actually get their pieces into the game quicker. Now, I suspect I'm going to need to start redeploying my forces. There's no point putting my knight on this square because it's doing nothing. I want to try and maybe bring it here and here in the next couple of moves. Or, now that I've moved the bishop off here, rook this way and threaten to take this. Unless he plays pawn here, but I think that'll be very passive from him. If white plays pawn to b4, I'll be quite happy. Be quite happy with that because I think it just shows that white hasn't really got any huge plan at the moment. Bishop there, not bothered about that at all. White can take this. I'm not bothered about that at all. So slide the rook over. Just try and get my pieces moving a little bit better. Now, I'm thinking of taking this for no other reason than to put my bishop on this square as a better square, and it means the knight can slide over soon. No concerns about this. No concerns at all. Bishop moves, this is threatened. So we could see bishop there, but if that happens, I will just slide this pawn forward, and I don't think there's any problem. I don't see any problem with that. So it's an interesting position, this, because it feels like white is better, but it's quite difficult to me anyway to see where white is going to win this. You suspect that at some point white is going to have to take here and try and overload here, but I very easily got 1, 2 easy resources to defend this bishop, which is already defended by the king, and if these two pawns come off the board, then I can move my knight there. That's only temporary because this pawn can come forward, but it's something where I don't think I'm too concerned at the moment. Now, white could play something here like h4. What are we thinking there? Okay. Now, I'm looking at pawn takes here, which initially strikes me as being a terrible move because it creates a passer, but it keeps things a bit more closed. And I'm wondering about that, because if I take here, as much as I know I can defend, I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to spend too much time thinking about it. Might see bishop takes knight now, although I could have played that on the move previously. And I realised I'm not really concerned about rook down here because I can just play bishop there, and the rook is trapped. Albeit then bishop there. So all various permutations to everything to work out here. It's not a clear position. But the important thing is I'm up on the clock. And I want it to stay that way. Now I'm going to bring this over first, I think. I suspect white wants to take this pawn and really blow things open. That's why I'm just moving my knight over, just to try and start battening down the hatches a little. Okay, suspected this rook would come over at some point. Pawn here probably. I suspect. At which point I will just bring this rook over so that I'm ready to move the knight out of harm's way. The queen isn't in the game at the moment. It's not really doing a lot. Now, do I want to drop it back here? think I probably do, don't I? In case of pawn here. I very nearly moved knight there then, which would have been a big problem after pawn here. So it's a very tricky position. Very tricky. I feel like I'm a little bit tied down here. Well, I'd like to have two moves to move my queen to this square. If I can get my queen onto that square, I'm happy. But also, he can't play pawn h3 now, because if white plays pawn h3, pawn h6 rather, yeah. Now I think we're doing okay. We can swap. I'll be quite happy with a swap. I see the message in the chat from Nilu. Hi, Nilu. I'd quite happily play you next. You'll see my ID is mycomps. Send me a challenge. We'll play after this game. I'm just trying to think. What do I want to do here? This pawn is hanging now. Let's threaten it. Not that I'm thinking of taking it, really. I'm not really thinking of taking this pawn seriously at the moment, because I feel like that's just too dangerous. But look at the clocks. I've got just under 6 minutes. White has got just under 3 minutes. I've got twice as much time, more than twice the time of white. And as I say, playing a lot of these Blitz streams, where there are games that get down to this is still a complicated position, and where games end up with little time, having that ability to play moves quickly, not even necessarily super accurately, but just being able to get moves on the board that at least make your opponent think, is vital. I really want to take this pawn, but I feel like it's a bad idea. I'm going to bring my queen up, because well, I couldn't take that yet, could I? Because he'd take here. So that would have been a very silly move. So I'm now thinking rook here next. Right there. Yeah, that I don't like. I don't like that move. That makes matters potentially very tricky. Have to go there, I think. Pre-move that. If knight goes there, well, I'll just slide the queen over, and it's no big deal yet. Queen across maybe, but still no big deal, because I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces defending this, and I can just slide this over. I'm wondering if at some point might be a sacrifice here. Not yet. And I can't take this, of course. Let's bring this back. This is tricky. This is tricky. But I think the problem with this position is actually it's very tricky for white. And white will feel like they are winning here. But how do they convert this into a win? That is a really brave move. A really, really brave move. And I feel like I'm going to have to take this. If I drop my king back, then the e6 pawn goes. I can't not take that. Now, How do we hold this? I feel like I need this rook on this rank. And I'm prepared, if pawn here, I'm prepared to let this bishop go. Because then I might start getting my own attacks on the H file. So I may play something like rook H8. Maybe I should have played that last move. But again, this is part and parcel of these types of positions. Sorry, not these types of positions, these types of games where White has now got 1 minute left. It's just vital to be able to make moves. In fact, if pawn there, now, can I just take this? Take. What I'm thinking is take, rook here, take. I think that would leave me. I'd be left as a pawn up, wouldn't I? Take. Queen takes on h6 in 2 moves time. Rook across. Rook takes queen. His rook takes my queen. It's check. Take back. Yeah, I think we're okay. I think we're okay. All plays there first. Okay. But still, I think we're okay. Now I can take. Can I take this? This is difficult to play with not much time. But as remember, I've got more time than White has, so I've got to make myself think. If I'm playing rook takes pawn, what does White have? I don't think White really has anything. If I play rook takes, queen takes, bishop takes, I think I must be fine. I must be fine here. The worst I'm going to come out of this is a pawn up. And now bishop back here. So at the moment, it says I'm 5 points up, but I never believe the points. Never believe the points. Now I can't take the bishop. That's one thing I can't do. Can I take this pawn? Can I take that pawn? I don't know. I think I can. Because if either rook takes here, I play queen takes. Yeah, I must be okay. Must be okay. Well, then I take this. And there we go. God, an interesting game. Really interesting game. Gosh, that was a very good victory. A very good win against Kalmik. And a very, very strong bullet player as well. I want to see how this was going in the middle again. Not bothered about the opening so much. You see, I was way behind. But these positions, and look, Lichess said I should have taken with this one. Okay, very minimal change in the position, but actually, it didn't go so bad. And this is the thing. I'm just able to keep making these moves that keep prolonging the game. And it's really difficult for White to keep making good progress. Didn't sacrifice there. I said that, didn't I? I said I wondered if there was going to be a sacrifice at some point. And that was the time to do it. So, got away with it. Got away with one here. But I'm intrigued. That sacrifice was bad. here we're dead level. And I thought bishop there was a bad move. I did think that. It all just seemed a bit premature. Interesting. Really interesting game. Okay, let's do another. Let's do another game. Let's see what happens next. Oh, black pieces again. Black again. Okay, let's see. So, no attempt to control the centre yet. Just pushing that pawn forward. This is the type of structure that I tend to try and play at the moment when I'm faced with any white opening other than e4. Anything else I get, I try and set up with pawns on d5, c5, e6. And I'm not bothered about moving the bishop twice if I have to capture back on c5. Because I think my position looks very solid. I don't think there's any issues at the moment. I want to play this next. And if I can get that in, I'm controlling the centre. And it's a nice position. Look at the board. I've got 2 pieces on my 4th rank, 3 pieces across the back across my 3rd rank. And until that move, white only had 4 on that rank. So I think we're doing okay. Now, I'd have liked an extra move to have got pawn up first, but I think I can play this now. I think I can, because if white takes here, I'll play queen takes. And I've got quite an expansive position. I've got my queen and bishop on the 4th rank. White hasn't got anything, not even a pawn, on the 3rd rank, on the 4th rank. So we'll see what happens here. Bishop there, which I was pretty sure was going to happen. And I am just quite happy with my position. I don't see any particular problem. Knight here maybe, attack this, but what's the problem? What is the problem? I'm just going to drop. I'm going to try something a bit different, actually, a bit funky. Let's drop this back. This might be bad. This might be bad. Might get knight e4 now, which I can take. Take that with this knight. No queen there. Okay. Can't push this because it's pinned. So that will be a slightly annoying move, I suspect. This is a quite intriguing position already, actually. Could leave that off. I'm finding I'm getting more and more of these quite interesting positions at the moment. Life's too short for boring chess, anyway. I don't really like my knight on d8, but in one move, I can easily rectify this. And I can just play h6. Now, is now the right time to play h6? What could he do? What could white do? Probably play the knight back there, which is going to force a trade of knights and probably lose his bishop. I might do this first. That's not a bad move, because white may then just play pawn here, and I've got to move the bishop back, which feels like a problem, but then I've blocked that bishop in, so I like that. It's not a long-term move, as we know, because I'm going to have to bring this back. I might have to bring it back again in a minute. But I've just blocked this bishop's activity this way. And it's cost me nothing. Yeah, it's cost me a move, but so what? So what? See, I wanted to play knight takes, but then I'm slightly concerned about queen takes and attacking this and the bishop. So I think we're going to have to play over here. Be slightly cautious. My bishop on g4 is doing wonders at the moment because it's preventing that rook on a1 sliding over to d1. It's doing a really good job for me. Could be queen takes here. And this now is the point of me playing bishop b4 earlier. This bishop is a bad bishop at the moment. It can't do anything. I suspect white might play a4 here, almost out of frustration, to try and get the bishop in the game. Because it feels like a bad move to put your bishop back on c1. Queen there, okay, well. Yeah, okay, that's not a bad move. Because by the same token, I now don't want to put my bishop back on c8. But is that what I have to do in order to maintain some semblance of a good position? Maybe. Maybe it is. My concern with playing bishop back to c8 is it's very passive, and then all my minor pieces are on the back row. But I think that's the lesser of the evils. May play something like... Oh, I was already defending it. I was already defending it with the knight. Although, my bishop now doesn't look terribly placed. Obviously, the threat there was queen takes this. Quite a big threat in the grand scheme of things. White might play bishop here now. I'll just push my bishop forward. And all of a sudden, everything looks like it's petering out a little, which is fine. Sometimes with black, you just have to accept that you don't have winning chances. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Now, my concern is bishop coming here check. Not because I'm worried about the check, I'll just push the king into the corner. But this rook has then got a glorious open file. So, as much as I think it's a bit of an ugly move, I'm going to put bishop there. Because I could now get bishop here. But then I'll move my rook across. And... maybe, we'll see. See what happens if white does play that. I don't really understand that move. I can't say I follow why white is now coming over this way. Maybe thinking I'm just going to push this pawn up. Yeah, I don't really see what white's plan is with that move. Maybe it's played something like g4, but that would seem very expansive. And if I push my pawn here, this bishop has got to go back. Bishop's got to go back now. And where? Where is it going? Where is that bishop going? I feel like I'm doing okay here. I like the position. I do like the position. Do all the rooks coming off help me? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I'm conscious I'm already down a bit on time. We've both still got over 5 minutes, but he's got half a minute more than I have, which is a lot at the moment. And I like that I'm threatening this square. Not immediately, obviously, because his rook's there. But I feel like even though I've only got 2 pawns in front of my king rather than white's 3, there are more weaknesses, potentially, for the white king. Now I have to be careful with things like this pawn coming forward. And I'm just wondering what's the best way to move this queen away. Should I play quite conservatively? Because one thing I'm thinking is swap off a pair of rooks and bring the queen back. And I know why it's got the bishop pair, but it's going to be... Yeah, you've got to really play very well to make that count. Or just play h6. What about h6 here? What does that do? I don't like making moves like that. I feel like I haven't really thought h6 through, but I'm conscious of time. I'm a minute down in a game with no increment. If queen comes here, I'm just going to bring the bishop back, at which point the queen will go back there. Okay. Bishop back. He can't take this. So it could be queen back here. I suspect it'll be queen back to e2, at which point I might try and bring my knight into the game a little. I don't think it's clear. See, if I bring my knight here, oh, that's interesting. So look, that queen's just moved around. 1, 2, 3. Is that really achieving anything? I don't think it is. Can't move that yet. Let's swap off. Move the knight. And this is where I'm going to try now and just start playing a bit quicker. Because I can see a weakness here. h3 might be the move, but it feels passive. And white won't want to play passive here. White will want to be quite dynamic. I maybe even might do this. That would be a really nice move to make. Okay, right. Let's start attacking. Now I really am threatening east. Now I really am thinking about doing this next move. Could be rook here. No, can't be. Bishop. So what's the play here now? Can I go there? Goes back. Doesn't really do anything, does it? It's a shame. Okay, knight back. We might play that next. Just over 20 seconds down on the clock. I mean, I wonder if at some point I'm thinking about potentially bringing the queen back here to cover this square and then throwing the knight in. All sorts of options. I'm going to pre-move this just in case. And all of a sudden I'm ahead on time. All of a sudden. That's a good move. That's a good move. Although this isn't really threatened. I wonder any merit in... Oh god, I've got to even take this. Could I even take that? I don't think so. Too risky. Too risky. What do I do here? What do I do? My worry with going backwards with the knight is, well, I have to, don't I? Because if I move the bishop, he's going to bring rook in here. So I'm going to have to do this. And then try and swing the knight in the other way. Might now get rook here. But we're still okay. Check threatening mate again. Put it back. Could maybe have played pawn g6 there, but I feel like I'm then just weakening my king more. If there's a nothingy move played, I may think about it. But I love the idea of playing something like b4. b4 would be a really nice move to make. Oh, pawn there now. Pawn there is trouble. Let's bring knight back here then. But sometimes this is what's helpful. Ooh, ooh, ouch. Right. Okay. Scrambling a little. Now we start to get interesting. Might be swinging my queen across in a minute. Yeah, I'm going to swing it across. Am I? Am I going to do that? Yeah, I am. I am. Potentially bring knight back here and then throw this pawn forward. Slightly down on time, but 2 minutes. 2 minutes is plenty of time. Ah! Going to be the exchange down now. Wiggle something here. Queen takes, knight back, and then move the rook out of harm's way. Maybe queen there. Queen there would be a problem. Not an insurmountable problem. I could bring rook here. And then just being a pawn down would not be the end of the world. Take this. Nope, then he couldn't move the bishop. And that pawn is loose. So all sorts happening. All sorts happening in this position. Right, okay. Oh, I can't take that, can I? Okay. Make a move. Such a sharp position with so many mate threats. Queen there. Okay, we'll go back here. Do you want to repeat? Do you want to draw? I'm tempted to see the rating of the person I'm playing, see whether I think a draw's a good idea for me or not. But we'll play position on its merits. If queen back here, oh, okay. Now we're fighting. We are fighting, everybody. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, chicken dinner. Let's see what comes next. That's a really good move. Didn't see that at all. Excuse me. Can I play that queen here? I'm better than this. Take that. Oh, the queen there. Right. Okay. We are in trouble with this, but there is definitely drawing chances. Let's try and be a bit careful. I've got plenty of pieces. No, a queen there is a problem. Right, okay. go, 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 go. Survive. Can we survive? Can we win on time? We did. We did. We shouldn't have, but we did. And we're back above. Look at that. We're back above. You can't see it. Can you see it there? Yes. We are back above 2300. Excellent. That was, again, a really interesting game. And I feel like, again, it's another game I was probably losing. For a significant period. Let's just go back to when it was all kicking off. Let's just find, where were we? Yeah, this was all quite level. Slight advantage for me, it says. Yeah, and this is white's better. White's better, marginally, but better. Oh, it wanted me to take that pawn. I was surprised at that. I'm surprised it wanted me to take the pawn. And then it's a case of scrambling around here. I still don't think it was terrible. Wow, okay, so that pawn move was actually bad. Should have gone queen d6 immediately. Oh no. So I should have gone knight to f4. Okay. Why is knight to f4 good? I'm going to look at that. Why is knight to f4 the move? Is it just because of knight there? Check next. Gosh, it wants to play. What? I said a waiting move. Yeah, what's the. Oh, okay. It's all. Well, we should go there. Oh, okay. Gosh, interesting. Interesting game, but it's just so long. And in order to actually have any chance of winning, you have to play the full 24 hours, surely. Oh, we got a white game. Hooray. Right. Let's do c4. c4, d4. See a lot of my games as white. And get these three pieces out very quickly. This knight and my c and d pawns. They tend to be how I start playing my games as white at the moment. Black's already having a think. Yeah, the way. What's this? It's got something saying that YouTube's not responding. That was unexpected. Oh dear. See? And now I'm thinking about my time. Oh, go away, studio. I'm trying to play chess here. Go away. Oh, it's all going wrong on here. All going wrong. Right. Now, I've got a chess game to play, YouTube. I know this is a little bit expansive. Bishop here could come next. At which point I'll just push this pawn forward and double down defending here in a minute. Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. I don't really know what's going on here. Right, I'm a pawn up. I'm a pawn down. Where do we go next? Take there, I guess. Yeah, because black. Oh, this is a bit jiggery. I haven't even really thought about this. I'm playing this like a bullet game, which is probably not how I should be playing this. This is probably far more nuanced than what I'm giving it credit for. Bishop there, I'll bring the knight back with check. And then, no, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. Ah. Should have brought the knight out first. Oh no, that wouldn't work. It's just actually really bad. Actually, bishop back. Bring bishop there first is the key, I think. And that doesn't work either. So what do I do? What do I do now? I'm going to play bishop there. Pawn's going to come here. Oh, okay. Right. Well, an interesting position. I'm probably worse, but again, it's an interesting position. And do we like boring chess? No, we do not like boring chess. We want interesting chess. That's what we want. That's what we want. We don't want anything boring. Not on this channel, thank you. I thought I'd take Zen mode off. Let's just see who we're up against here. I can play that because bishop there, pawn forward. Not convinced I want to swap rooks off. I'm not convinced that's something that would benefit me, but let's see. Let's see. Is swapping rooks off here going to help? Rook against two bishops with black having an extra pawn. I feel like that's asking for trouble. A little. I don't feel like it's a good idea. But if I don't swap rooks off, black's rook's going to come onto this square. And that's also not something that I'm particularly wanting to deal with. But I'm thinking I've not really got much better choice. I didn't really want to do that, but I feel like I didn't have much choice in the end. And now I've got, the rook is better than the bishop, but is it better than the bishops? That's the question. And now I just got to try and hold on a bit. Bishop here is coming, I suspect. We'll side this over because again, bishop here. I'll just push the pawn forward. I'm not sure what my strategy should be here. Do I want to swap pawns off or do I want to keep them on? I'm really not sure. I don't really know what I want to do. But I suspect this is a position where it should really be up to black to make headway. This is going to be an interesting game now because I'm just going to try and prevent black from making any progress. And which I'm not doing very successfully. Okay, we're going to have to try and make some progress on this side then. Adam do messy. Diddly diddy diddy. Yeah, I'm not going to even struggle to get my rook in, aren't I? This is probably over. My rook is doing nothing. Oh. Although that is interesting. I don't think it's going to save this game for me, but it gives me some counterplay. I think black has got a bit ahead of themselves here. Black is winning. There's no question, okay, that black is winning. But you've got to be able to convert. And that sometimes is the hardest part. It's a Coldplay song, wasn't it? And the hardest part was letting go, not taking part. So we'll take another. I have to take. I don't. I have to take. We'll take another. Thank you. Lovely. Thank you. Right. Take. Well, not take, but move the queen. Move the king over. This is an annoying game now because I feel like I've got a lifeline and I can do something, but what's the big concern here? I'll just bring this across. Okay, fine. And I am going to test black, if I need to, on their skills in... Ooh, look at this. Look at this. Go there. Ooh. Maybe I've even got winning chances here. Black was better. Black was definitely better, but has tried to play this too quickly. And now there's all sorts happening. All sorts. I'm going to win a... Am I going to be... Yeah, I've got chances of winning this now. How have I got chances of winning this game? This is ridiculous. Because if I take this, I'm threatening the bishop as well. It's an outrageous position. How on earth have I got into the position where I might be able to win this game? And this is what I was saying just a few minutes ago. Literally a move or two before this. Winning a game with two bishops is not easy. So I always thought, even if it ended up being the two bishops and the black d-pawn against... Oh, that's... Yeah. Well... Okay. I've now got at least a draw. Now I've got at least a draw. Take here, bishop there. That's clever. It's a good find. But we'll try. We'll see if we can win this, I think. Because I don't feel like I'm not in danger of losing now. There's no danger of me losing this game. Now, where do I put my king? I feel like this is an important decision. I instinctively want to go to g2. It's got to be g2, hasn't it? Whether I go g2 or g1, the king could come here. And I might, gosh, I'm going to have to try and win this, I think. Rook and king against bishop and king. Is that even winnable? I don't know. Guess we'll soon find out. Definitely can't play bishop there. He's had to look at the position so many times just to make sure. But again, this is bad from black. I think the way for black to play this is to just try and get that pawn off the board, even if it means sacrificing one of the bishops. Could be king here next. I can't stop black from swapping off and getting this pawn off the board. But what I can do is try and make it so that it becomes really difficult for black to make progress. So I want to go here. Well, I'm going to just see what he's going to do. Let's see what black does. I suspect bishop c3. This is a game of cat and mouse, isn't it? Now what do you do, Black? Do you take that? No? Okay. More opportunities to move. Okay. I really don't understand what Black is trying to do here. I can go there. And then slide across. No checks now. And next move, I'm going to push this forward. This is looking a bit dodgy. I'm going to end up with at least a rook against bishop endgame. I've got 2.5 minutes, and I'm going to have to rack my brains to try and think, is that winnable? I'm not convinced it is with best play. I'm not convinced. But we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. If I get down to 5 seconds, then we'll have to bail out. But we won't be bailing out immediately. We won't be doing that. Right, now, how can I try and win this? Have to make sure that I keep sort of good distance between my king and rook. Bishop there could be next. I'm not bothered about that. Can't go bishop there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. How on earth am I going to win this game? This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous game. Sorry, I've got some reconstruction work going on downstairs, so do forgive the banging. But I genuinely don't know how I've got to a position where I can win this game. I'm going to have to go back and look at this on the analysis after, just to see where on earth this has all gone wrong. I think it's very difficult to pinpoint what has actually happened here. It's a really strange position. There we go. Look. Oh, I need to analyse this game. I can't play English now. I need to see what happened in this game. Yeah, look, didn't I say it? This was already so bad for Wii. So bad. It's down 4.5 points. God, oh gosh, this was so bad. Such a bad position. Yeah, 4.5 points. I said I was losing. But one of the things I've actually learned from watching the games at the esports is if you're losing, just try and create a bit of chaos, a bit of counterplay. See, that's the key. Look at that. That move was bad. Me pushing that pawn to f5 is objectively a bad move. The score was -4. It's not like I'm doing very well. The score was -4.6. I play that move, it goes down to 5.7. But it gives Black the opportunity to make a move that isn't quite accurate. Brings it back to 4.7 where it was. I then make another move. And again, I'm just trying to make chaos. It's worse. This is a worse position than it was a couple of minutes ago. But, and I knew this was bad. I knew this was bad because I moved that rook to g1 and I said, I don't know where it's going. At this point, I'm almost ready to resign. But what I've done here is I've made some headway. In that I'm going to get that pawn. I'm going to get another pawn. And all of a sudden, see, I'm still, look, all of a sudden, it's getting better for me. It's still bad. It's still a bad position. But that was the key, wasn't it? Coming in here. And I said, the worst I've got now is a draw. The worst I can do is a draw. But it all goes wrong. All the time here. Black should just be looking to swap. Swap off that pawn. And then where's that big mistake? Here. Just not looking. A silly game. A silly game, really. But there's another win. And I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks.